Ruben Nepales for Rocker. Hi guys, congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you please tell me what each of the directors, Jay Bayona, Wayne Yip, and Charlotte bring to the episodes they directed?
Jay certainly brings the scope. One of the things that I've never had from a director is that he plays music in between takes on loudspeakers. And at first I found it really off-putting, but then this kind of subliminal thing happened where his vision of the tone of what you're creating starts to kind of seep into your subconscious and kind of unifies not only the cast but the crew, everyone involved. He kind of was shepherding us whether we knew it or not. I really liked working with Jay.
And so Sophia, talk about landing the role of Princess Disa, the first female dwarf in The Lord of the Rings, and how you auditioned 2 days before giving birth. And 8 weeks later, you were on the flight to the set.
Yeah.
And how your costume was adjusted so you can feed your baby in between takes.
Yeah. Look, the audition process was incredible. And I think it was all such a haze, but something drew me to push through it. And I think baby, who I didn't know was my daughter at the time, we didn't find out any details. She was like, "You've got this, mama." So I kind of went to the audition and had the support of lovely Jay and Belen actually in my camera test, who were kind of like, you know, pulling me out of the chair at the end of it. Well, that's it. But the camera test was about being in the home. That was the audition piece. It was kind of being in the home. And it was about motivating and strengthening the person who I didn't know it was at the time. And so what better support than my firstborn? 8 weeks later, we fly out. It's all a complete whirlwind. But what was wonderful is the support network that I had within my cast and my friends, but also within production. And of course, the wonderful Kate Hawley stitching breastfeeding flaps into my costume so that I could feed and parent in the way that I wanted to parent, whilst executing the biggest role of my entire career.
And then I understand that J.D. Payne was offering you the role while he was in the hospital because his wife had just given birth. So
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that commitment and how maybe that commitment also convinced you to commit to a role that will take a lot of your time?
Yeah, he said, I couldn't hear him on the phone, and I said, "Where are you?" He said, I'm in the hospital. And I said, "You okay?" He said, "Oh, we just had a baby." And then he went right back into the Legendarium. And because it is a daunting commitment, not only for you, but for your family and for the amount of time and the dedication that this undertaking requires. I was a little nervous about it. And the fact that he had entrenched himself so deeply in the project, it really reassured me. And that maintains to be the case, that both those boys, JD and Patrick, they eat, sleep, breathe this job. And again, I think that's the bare minimum.
For all of you, how spectacular and helpful were the sets in helping you with your character? Because I understand that at one point a cast member said that he or she could not tell where the actual environment begins and where the set begins. So how were the sets helpful?
I mean, they're phenomenal. I live in Auckland, so I know the studios pretty well. When I turned up to shoot on my first day, where there's normally like a big empty kind of car park space on the back lot, they built blocks upon blocks of the city of Numenor with unbelievable detail. They'd thought about everything. There was incense burning in alleyways. There were, different sections with different architecture depending on when they thought they'd be built, which centuries, how old, how new. There were boats on water. When you're in an environment like that, it does feel like a real space. You can just fully surrender and live in it, no question.
How about you?
You said it all there.
So tell me, this is the honesty time. When you got the role, have you actually read the books, or there was a mad scramble to read the books?
I grew up with them. My mum was always a huge fan, but I'd never gone near the appendices that we're building from here. So all of that was new to me. Luckily, there are, so many experts, so many fans working on the show who could guide us along. Whenever we felt like there was, just too much to read, too much information to process, there was somebody who could sort of lead you through it and make it playable, if that makes sense.
Anybody else?
I think for Numenor, I think the Akalabeth and the Unfinished Tales, those were important for us. I mean, all of it is important, but that's where you really get an insight, I think, into the Numenorian psyche, where Numenorians, Kemen, Pharazôn, and so you really sort of get an insight into our train of thought, I think, when you see what that city's about. It's as if you're walking through the mind of these people, and they're all about leaving legacy, because of they die, they're not around forever. So these are the marks that they leave for other generations to come. When you walk through the city, that is, you see how important that legacy is for them.